Hey guys, how's it going? It's the real Randy Chavez coming at you with a Tesla stock analysis video. Here's something that I didn't think that I would do. I Fastly, I was up at one point like 240%. I noticed it yesterday. I was like, maybe I should trim a little bit because it was up so much, up to $81, $82. I did not do that. My friend Dan's advice said, don't day trade, don't do any of that. But today, after it went down to like 70 something, I took a little profit. I only sold 13 shares, enough to buy another share of Tesla. Why I did that is because Tesla got hit with a 1-2 punch, and what it did was not technically a 1-2-3 combo. The market in general was selling off today. A bit of a retrace. We knew it was coming. We had like so many days in a row of increasing of profits, of going up. So it had to deal with that. It had to deal with the fact that the Model S had, I think, only 11 of the touchscreens had issues, but they just like, let's do an investigation of like thousands of these, and we'll do a recall or whatever. So they had to deal with that as well, and then they also had to deal with the fact that one of those companies, JD Power, I think they say, all right, this is the benchmark of what a car should be. Do Honda, Toyota, all these cars, and we're going to rank them from first to last. And Tesla got last. Now, diving deep into it, most of what their issues are cosmetic, whether it's paint jobs or chipping or whatever. I didn't dive too deep into it, but they had to deal with all of those things at the same time. So Tesla, they dropped like 40 something dollars. Let's say it finished at $1,000 yesterday. To make it even, they finished $960 today. They dropped to $956, the lowest as it was. So they dropped almost about $44 at the low point. I think they finished at like $960, $961. So I got it $966, and then in like $962. So I bought 2 shares, and I'm going to next week when I get a little bit more money. I'm going to buy back what I lost in Fastly. Again, 13 shares. I'll buy that back. Now I have 35 shares in Tesla, and I will do what I have to do if this keeps going down. If we see a retrace, if we see it go, I don't think it'll go below 880. That's just based on charts and where the support line, where I think the support line is. That's what I think it is. But there's a decent chance with everything happening at once in conjunction with, let's say they don't have a profit in Q2, because he's trying. Elon Musk is trying so hard to get that profit in Q2, and I would never bet against him. But if by some chance he's not able to do it, they're not able to get S&P 500 inclusion. You see all these bears and all these shorts. It's like, I knew it. I knew Tesla would never do it. That's their competition is coming. Obviously, we know that's ridiculous. There is really no competition for Tesla. What they have is, in every facet, whether it's SUVs, whether it's sports cars. With, oh my God, that Roadster with the rocket thrusters is gonna be ridiculous. But obviously, people, they pay attention to the news, and people are like, oh well, man, Tesla's maybe it is between Ford and GM and Daimler and all these other companies, maybe Tesla will lose market share, and maybe it'd be a good time to sell. Idiots. And short term they might be right. Short term it might go down. Maybe it's a good idea to sell at 960 because it'll go down to 900, 880, maybe 700. I don't think it will, but there's a chance that it does. And if it does, I'm going to be ready to buy. I will sell Pokemon cards. I will sell other stocks. I will over leverage myself. I will do what I have to do to buy it, because in it for the long haul. Short term pain, long term gain. This is something that, again, I'm not a financial advisor, even though both of my businesses are based off risk and data analysis. I'm not a stockbroker. I'm a serious. This is just my opinions. This is just what I'm doing. Full transparency. Speaking of Fastly, Fastly is a company I think that can go. That can be a couple $100 a share. I got it at 22 a share. I didn't even put that much in, but like $1,500 in. I got 68 shares or whatever I got. And I'll buy back what I had sold today. Next week. But outside of that, I was going over with my friend Dan before. Who's much more experienced and definitely a lot smarter than I am about a lot of things. But we're going over about again long term. I like Fastly for like the next 3 to 5 years. Just long term, they're gonna have to compete with Starlink. And Starlink, for those of you who don't know, they have like 300 satellites up right now. I think their main objective right now is to give really high speed internet to rural areas in Canada. They said Starlink's going to work best in places that don't have a lot of population, that are a little more spread out, like Canada. And they're going to do it all over the world, but that's Elon Musk's company. Never betting against Elon Musk. So this is why I never got into SPCE, Virgin Galactic. SPCE is a company that I think Charles Bronson, or was he the actor? Richard Branson. I don't know why I said the actor from Death Wish. Richard Branson, that billionaire with Virgin Galactic. Everything he touches usually does pretty well, but Virgin Galactic eventually might have to try to compete with SpaceX, and no SpaceX has no competition. Whether it's from Amazon or from Virgin Galactic, they just don't. So, same thing with Fastly. Short term, they're doing great with that edge computing and cloud computing, and I like in 3 to 5 years. But once Starlink is, that's something that they're gonna have to compete with, and eventually I'll sell. I'll sell those shares and I'll put it into something else. But comparing stocks, it's not a bad idea to get two decent. Like if you're, let's say, use Pokemon, you could have a Feraligatr, water type Pokemon, and a Gyarados, another water type Pokemon, and you could have them on the same team. That there's nothing wrong with that. Just in the same way, you could have both Fastly, edge computing, and Net, which is also edge computing, and Net is a lot more established. They are worth. They're worth $50 billion. I'm not sure how much they're worth, but Fastly's only worth like $7 billion. Net has a larger market cap, and it's not a bad idea to have both. I chose one over the other, Fastly, because of the potential, and I was right. They were both around 22 around the same time. Net went up to 30 something. Fastly went up to 82. Bit of a retrace at 75, but I'm usually very good. Again, risk and data analysis is what I do. CRISPR or Illumina? CRISPR long term because CRISPR is, Illumina longer term because Illumina has 70% market share. They sell the machines to be able to other medical offices so that they can read DNA, and they also sell the chip that they use in order to read the DNA. So they sell the machine and then they sell the chip that you need to use, for inventory. So 70% market share. Eventually, healthcare companies are going to say, hey, if we're going to insure you, you need to get your DNA read and get your genes read, make sure that you're not susceptible to anything. And if you are, then, you go to CRISPR and edit it. So I chose Illumina over CRISPR. Not a bad idea to have both, but long-term gain, Illumina, I feel is better. Again, just my opinion. Same thing with PayPal or Square. PayPal was Elon Musk's company, or he helped with that years ago, and Square is just doing what Elon Musk wanted to do with that company. They have fractional shares that you could buy. You can buy Bitcoin with it. You don't need a bank account. They give you a bank account that for the little guy. That is banking for the little guy. Little guys, people that can't afford to have a bank account because they don't have enough money to be able to keep in there. They are taking over, and Square's Cash App has more users now than PayPal's Venmo. And maybe PayPal will try to innovate. Maybe they'll add stuff, but I think PayPal's really just been riding the coattails for a while, and they're in everything. I get it, but long-term user base, I gotta go. I gotta go with Square and Cash App because you could do that's one-stop shop, vertically integrated, and then the other one, Tesla, over everything. But again, if you give me one or the other, I'm gonna pick the one which I think is going to get the best returns, and so far I've been right. Square has been growing faster than PayPal, as far as user base goes anyway, and Fastly has been going faster than Net, Illumina faster than CRISPR, and Tesla over everyone. So again, my portfolio is so far Tesla, but I believe again in. I've said up to 10x. I believe Tesla will eventually get to 20x, but that will be contingent on solving full self-driving, the autonomous driving. Some people say a year, some people say 5 years, some people say full 10 years. They might not even do it in 10 years. I think they will, but at least they have a timeline on it. Nobody else has a timeline. I think Waymo is the closest with like maybe 10 million miles or however many million miles driven, or Tesla has 1 billion miles driven, or however many billions of miles of data, and that's the best. So I have 35 shares. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm not just saying like, oh, this is what I think, and yeah, I don't care about your money. You go do what you want, and if you lose, it's no skin. I have skin in the game. Again, not a lot. I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars. I could just one off it. No, like a lot of what I have. Again, like 35 shares of Tesla. Average cost base is $740. So do the math. Either way, that is it for this video. That's what I'm doing. Being fully transparent. Again, this is not financial advice. It's just what I'm doing. I love you all.